What is up, my friends and family? Welcome back to another episode of the Accutane Handbook, and this is just a series, if you're not familiar, where you get to hear all the most commonly asked questions, because it's so hard to source all the answers of the things you need to know before you start Accutane, when you're on Accutane, and just to figure out the information about it, right? So that's what this series serves, and let's go right into the questions without any further ado. The first question says, do you think there will ever be a point where you will be acne free? And I will say right now that even when you're going into taking Accutane, you should not go into it with the mindset that at the end of your treatment, you're going to be clear 100%, and you will not ever break out again, and you will have porcelain doll, Maybelline, maybe it's Maybelline, clear skin. That's not necessarily guaranteed. I mean, check it, like my face isn't 100% clear, but you know what, I'm 100% happy. I got a big one up here that popped up, it's okay, sometimes things pop up. Accutane, in my opinion, is the purpose I took it was to serve me from going from severe acne to regular people's acne, what regular people have to deal with. The next question is, what is your thoughts of the initial breakout? Like, just break it down for us, boss. The initial breakout, if you have not heard of this term before, it can also be abbreviated as IB. So if you see that, that's usually what that means, initial breakout. And you're just supposed to expect to break out when you first start taking Accutane, because it's doing all these things to you, right? A lot of people say it's purging your skin. Not necessarily. I wouldn't say that you're like getting rid of all your zit cream, your goo and stuff out of your body. But like, yes, you will force out a lot of acne in the beginning. And my initial breakout was about 3 to 4 months long. I still had a lot of acne after that, but that was the initial breakout, that like the initial extra acne stopped after 3 to 4 months. And then after that point, we were working on my initial acne. So you can expect the IB to be pretty bad, but it's not necessarily always bad. So, you know, it's not guaranteed that you're just gonna have tons of stuff coming up, but prepare yourself, because likely you will have more cysts than usual, and you'll have way more of your regular whitehead and blackheads appearing. But the calm before the storm. You have to go through the yin before you get the yang. You have to do the hardship before you get the reward. So you have to suffer through the IB. Just be okay with it. Keep your mentality positive. Keep a smile on your face, and then it'll work out. Like, it's gonna get better. The IB will go away, and then you'll be on your actual Accutane treatment to clearness. This question gets asked a lot, and it's very valid. And for a lot of people, it occurs a lot. Do you get headaches when you're on Accutane? This person says that they've been getting it a lot in the 3rd month, and from what I've talked to with other people, headaches are fairly common. And it's not like they're deadly, migranic, panic, deadly, just atomic headaches, right? But a lot of people will experience headaches, and a lot of people that I personally talk to experienced headaches all throughout the first 4 to 5 months of their treatment. Myself personally, I've never had a headache from Accutane. I've rarely had headaches in my life. Yeah, so I can't weigh in too heavy on that subject. But like I said, it is a decently common thing from what I've heard from my friends who've taken Accutane. And here's another hugely common side effect question about Accutane is, does Accutane affect your vision, or did it affect your vision specifically? For me, specifically, it didn't affect my vision. Well, actually, you know what? I'll take that back a little bit. My eyes were more sensitive in light. When I would go out in the sun, like literally would always be squinting. And it was just like so difficult, even in kind of regular daylight, not like the middle of the day when it's like 12 or 1 when it's really bright, but even like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock when it starts sunsetting, it would still be pretty bright, and I'd just be like, you know, always like squinting. But in terms of night vision, that's what people seem to talk about. Apparently Accutane can bind to receptors in your eyeball that help you with the vision of the night, seeing in the dark. And a lot of people say that they can't see as well in the dark when they're on Accutane. For me personally, I was able to see in the dark just the same as before I took Accutane. But that's another common side effect that a lot of people report, and it's not that serious, but you should be aware that it exists. It exists. Now, we've been talking a lot about side effects that are common on Accutane. Now let's talk about something that's a little bit less common. There are those kind of horror stories that you hear on the internet. And this is the ones that get you scared to take Accutane, right? Like all these crazy stories, but they are relevant. It's not something that happens to everyone, and it's not something that happens to most people, but some people experience very severe side effects and experience very traumatic experiences on Accutane. So what I want to do for you guys is I want to read you a comment from someone who had a very bad experience. She wanted to share this on in my comment section of my last video, and I thought I would put it in this video so that you guys can see the good and the bad. You can see all these things I'm telling you that are supposed to comfort you into taking Accutane, but you also can experience the fact that there are some really bad things that can happen, and I just want to put it all into perspective for you by reading her story out loud real quick. Catherine Mitchell says, I was 16 when I first started Accutane. At the time, I was also a high-level competitive gymnast. One side effect of Accutane is joint and muscle pain. What started as small aches in my back led me to being incapable of even sitting up straight. The pain became so awful that it even led to the end of my gymnastics career. I was at the chiropractor 3 days a week getting treatments in the hopes that it would help me. To this day, I still suffer from constant pain in my back, but thankfully it's a minimum compared to what it used to be. My acne was not worth what this medicine did to me. I think it's a bit more of a rare of a case, but this drug is very scary in my opinion. Very, very valid story, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, Catherine, because that gives people the perspective of good and bad, and I feel like that is so important in any choice you make in life, whether it's on Accutane or whether it's a life decision. You should always weigh the goods, the bads, and be realistic as well as optimistic. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Accutane Handbook. If you have any questions you want me to answer, please leave them in the comments below. That is where I source my questions from, and I think we have one more episode, so if you want anything answered, make sure that it gets in this next episode, because I think that will be the last part of this Accutane Handbook. I think we've covered quite a few common questions, and I feel like we've created sort of a good source for people to look at when they're looking into getting into Accutane treatments. If you guys haven't already, go over to the BTW Show channel and subscribe. It's btwshow.com. I appreciate that. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, new videos. Also, guys, we will be at the Olympia the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th. Make sure to subscribe and follow to my Instagram, because there will be some giveaways and some challenges and all sorts of good meetups and whatnot, so I'm really excited about that. Thick Solid Tight is my Instagram. Thank you guys again for joining me in this episode. If you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I will see you guys in the next video. Team Beyond the Week, CT.
Lift heavy or die, MIRIN, motherfucker.